Hi, folks. Welcome to 3.6 part 2. I just wanted to go ahead and work through example 5 here, which was the last example in the notes. This is very similar to example 4, where we had to write a polynomial that was minimal degree in standard form and with real coefficients, okay? And so we start here, we're given 3, 0, okay? So in other words, we know that 2 is a real 0. We know that 3 is a second real 0. And we have I as an imaginary 0. Okay? So if x equals 2 is a real 0, then it follows that x minus 2 is a factor, right? And if we have x equals 3 as a 0, then x minus 3 is a factor. And so when we have the real zeros, that's fine, right? Each one just comes by itself. But this imaginary 0, that's the one that comes in pairs, okay? So we know that x minus I is a factor, okay? But we need to remember that negative I is also a 0. All right, so because the complex zeros come in pairs, x minus I, or I and negative I are both zeros. And that means that x minus negative I or x plus I is also a factor. All right, so let's see which factors we have so far. X minus 2, x minus 3, x minus I, and x plus I. And so what we need to do is list those all out for our f of x. So x minus 2 times x minus 3 times x minus, I times x plus I. All right. Now, it's a lot of things to FOIL here. And so my strategy here is let's clump the real ones together. Let's FOIL those out. And then separately, let's take care of the imaginary ones, okay? And so when we do that, if we take the first two here and we think about FOILing, we have x times x is x squared, negative 3x minus 2x and a plus 6, all right? So I'll list that out as x squared minus 3x minus 2x plus 6. And then for the second clump here, I've got x times x, x times I, x times negative I, and negative I times I. That gives me x squared plus xi minus xi minus I squared. And I'm going to go ahead and clean up this second bit before I do anything else. All right, so I've got x squared. I'm also going to combine these two to make a negative 5x plus 6. And then over here, I have x squared. I notice that the xi and the minus xi, those go to 0. And then negative I squared is really the same as negative minus 1 or positive 1. So I really have x squared plus 1 here, all right? And now that I've done this, I'm going to go ahead and distribute. So x squared times x squared, and then times the 1. Negative 5x gets distributed, and this 6 gets distributed as well. Okay, so lots of distribution. Oops. And we get x to the 4 plus x squared minus 5x squared minus 5x plus 6x squared plus 6. Now we go ahead and try and combine any like terms we have and line them up in order from the highest power down to the lowest power. So x to the 4 And let's see. Oh, I think I made a mistake here. This should be 5x cubed. All right. So minus 5x cubed. All right. Any x squareds? Well, I have an x squared and a 6x squared. So that's plus 7x squared. Then I have my negative 5x and my plus 6. Negative 5x plus 6. And this, my friends, is our polynomial with real coefficients that also have these zeros. Okay. All right. So I hope you found this extra example helpful. See you back here for the next section.